Thank you so much for supporting Mountain Murders. I'm Heather, and I'm back with another true crime case for you, a little mini episode. You've probably heard me talk before about how I am hooked on a very specific subset of true crime, missing persons or cold cases involving disappearances. I don't know why, but it absolutely fascinates me to think about people who just vanish. No idea where they are, poof, up and gone. That is so frightening to me, and I find it very intriguing. What happens to all of these missing people? So I found a case here. It's actually been covered by a couple podcasts, but I thought I would give you my own spin on this. And that is the disappearance of Brooke Farthing. Brooke, as she was called, was born August 26, 1994. She lived in Berea, Kentucky with her mother, Shelby, her stepfather, Randall Walker, and her two sisters, Tasha Thomas and Paige Farthing. Now, growing up, Brooke was a Girl Scout and had been a member of the organization for pretty much her whole life. While a member, she made care kits for those who were affected by Hurricane Trina. She visited the elderly, spent a lot of time helping others. From what I understand, was an active member of the Future Farmers of America. Spunky, energetic, loved animals, loved being outside. Just your typical all-around fun-loving country girl. She was very athletic and was described as a tell-it-like-it-is type of person. On June 21st of 2013, Brooke and Paige took their driving tests. While Brooke passed, Paige failed, something that kind of became a bit of a running joke among the family for the rest of the day. That night, the family attended their Papa's 70th birthday party. As he'd been ill, this was a really important occasion, and they wanted everybody to attend. So after the birthday party, Brooke and Paige decided they were going to go to another party, which was taking place on Red Lick Road, and they went with their cousin. Now, according to Paige, her sister, they knew the majority of people in attendance at this party. Sometime between 7 and 8 p.m., Paige and the cousin decided to leave, while Brooke, who had already pre-packed an overnight bag, made plans to stay with a friend who was also at the party. I mean, hey, we've all been there. I'll catch a ride home with you. I'll spend the night with you. That's the plan. But when it came time to leave, Brooke discovered that her friend had other plans. She was going to go spend the night at a boy's house. Brooke, I'm sure feeling a bit abandoned, uncomfortable, got into an argument with her friend. Her friend leaves. Brooke's like, catch you later. I will get a ride back home with someone. Now, witnesses claim Brooke caught a ride with two men. One of those was a 20-year-old named Joshua Hensley. The trio drove to Floyd Branch Road to look at some horses, and these horses were somehow connected to Joshua. And later, one of the men was dropped off at his house. Joshua then takes Brooke to his house, which is located in the 100 block of Dillon Court, just off U.S. Highway 421. This house, by the way, was in foreclosure. There was no water or electricity, and my understanding is Joshua was in the process of moving out of this house. Imagine, here's Brooke, middle of the night, she's been at a party, things did not quite go as expected. Her entire evening plan has just completely been uprooted. She has to catch a ride with these two guys. Now, it has been said that she did know this Joshua Hensley, but her family is not sure how well she knew him, if they were just acquaintances or what. Then she gets to this strange guy's house, and there's no water or electricity. This sounds like a fucking nightmare. I would not like this. And Brooke doesn't like it either. At about 4 o'clock in the morning on June 22nd, Brooke calls her sister Paige and asks if their cousin could come pick her up. However, the cousin had been drinking and wasn't able to come get Brooke. Paige doesn't have a driver's license, has also been drinking, offers to go wake up their mom, but Brooke says, no, I'll find another ride. Don't wake up mom. Now, at this time, Paige says her sister didn't seem worried or upset. She didn't seem intoxicated. She was in her right state of mind. Everything seemed okay. She wasn't really worried about her sister. Brooke then starts making phone calls to other people and finally contacts her ex-boyfriend, Jared, who was at work at the time. He worked at a factory. He told her that he wasn't going to get off until about 6:30 in the morning, but he would come get her. It would only be about 30 minutes after that, maybe 7 o'clock or something. He'd have to drive there. At some point after this, Brooke sends several texts which say things like, "Can you hurry? Please hurry. I'm scared. I don't want to be here. Please come and get me." The troubling part of the story is how many people Brooke called and begged for a ride, and not a single person would come get her from this strange house. What is going on? This is like the first rule of going out as a female. Never abandon your friends. You got to stay with your shipmates, right? So the fact that her other friend ditched her to go off with a guy, not cool. And then here Brooke is in this not good situation. She feels uncomfortable. She's scared. She's begging people to come pick her up, give her a ride, and no one will come pick her up. What the heck? What kind of friends are these? Around 5:30 in the morning, Brooklyn's ex-boyfriend gets another text from her cell phone, but this time it says, "Never mind, I'm okay. I'm going to party in Rockcastle County." When he texts her back and is like, "Who are you with?" he doesn't get a response. Now, thinking she's going to go on to a party, he skipped out picking her up because, he doesn't think she needs a ride. He goes on home. But again, who goes to a party at 5:30 in the morning? This is very unusual, and I'm not trying to blame the boyfriend, but I'm like, seriously, think about it. The only parties that are happening at 5:30 in the morning are not good parties, and they probably involve meth, right? Well, that day, Brooke made plans to attend a car show in Somerset with some friends, but she never showed up, couldn't be reached by phone. Concerned, her friends start calling her sister Paige. Now, upon learning that Brooke is missing, her family begins to call around searching for her. Paige told the family that her friend said she'd left the party with these two guys, but no one in the family knew who these guys were. Now, they believed, however, that one of them was a friend or maybe relative of her ex-boyfriend. Paige managed to find one of the men's phone numbers. Tasha, Brooke's other sister, gave him a call. She told him they were worried about Brooke, and he confirmed that she'd gotten a ride home with him, but that he had left that morning to go tend to some horses while she was at his house because he was uncomfortable staying there given her relationship with her ex-boyfriend. So she and her ex-boyfriend are on good terms, but apparently this guy knew the ex-boyfriend. He says he thought it would be really awkward if he's there when the ex-boyfriend rolls up to pick her up, almost in some way insinuating that perhaps like he and Brooke had hooked up or made out or something like that, right? Before he left, he said he'd heard her on the phone talking about going to a party in Rockcastle County and that she was smoking a cigarette. About 20 minutes after the call ended, Joshua Hensley telephones Tasha back saying he's scared. All of Brooke's belongings, including her cowboy boots, purse, and some clothing, were at his house, and he believed the cigarette she'd been smoking had been the cause of a fire that morning. Now, he says he returned around 7 a.m. and that the couch where Brooke had been sitting was ablaze, and he called the fire department. He said maybe Brooke had been smoking, accidentally setting the couch on fire, or that someone burned it while he was gone. Once 24 hours had passed, Brooke's mother filed a police report. Brooke's family and friends went to Dillon Court to search. They did see the couch, and they also saw the items she had left behind. Now, they noted that the only clothing she'd been wearing, which was like a pair of cutoff shorts, a Future Farmers of America t-shirt, they were missing. Her clothes were not there, neither was her cell phone. But according to police, records show that her cell phone had received more than 1,000 calls within the first 24 hours of people trying to find her. People were very concerned. Now, according to firefighters, the couch fire had been deemed suspicious. Yeah, you fucking think so? But investigators left it sitting outside in the rain, the weather, further destroyed any evidence that could have been left behind. These are some genius cops we're working with, I guess. On the Sunday after Brooke's disappearance, Kentucky State Police began conducting interviews. The owner of the house where Brooklyn was last seen, again, the guy Joshua Hensley, he was interviewed, but nothing about the meeting was publicly released. Now, Joshua says he didn't see her leave and he doesn't know what happened to her. In the early days of the investigation, police requested that property owners in Estill, Rockcastle, Jackson, and Madison counties check their land for any signs of the missing girl. They were told to pay close attention to freshly turned earth and unusual smells, ditch lines, and remote areas. Authorities searched more than 16,000 acres in 3 Kentucky counties. Large-scale searches were conducted in the Red Lick area, nearby Owsley Fork Lake by police. They had cadets, people out on horseback. They had search dogs. Cadaver dogs were also brought in. Divers searched all of the bodies of water nearby. We're talking lakes, ponds, creeks, rivers. About 3 weeks after Brooke's disappearance, nearly 200 volunteers, including some on horseback, searched an area within about a mile and a half of her last known location. A month into the investigation, there was a fundraiser that was held to raise up a cash reward, and some businesses started selling decals with all of that money going to, a reward fund. By July of 2013, all foot searches for Brooklyn were called off. Cell phone records show pings near Blue Lick, which is about 30 miles or so from where she was last known to be. The phone was within a 3-mile radius of this tower, but search efforts in this area are problematic. It's rough, wooded terrain. It would take months and a lot of resources to cover the area. 7 years later, finding Brooke might even be more difficult because, she's been missing for 7 years. The current theory held by both Brooke's family and investigators is that she was abducted. Investigators believe the last text she sent to her ex-boyfriend, the one that said, "Never mind, I'm going to this party in Rockcastle County," was written and sent by someone else, not Brooke at all. As well, her family believes she wouldn't have left the house on Dillon Court without her belongings. Now, according to them, she had no reason to run away or walk out on her life. Sometimes the most obvious theory makes sense. She was in a strange guy's house where his couch is burned, right? Probably to destroy evidence. I mean, I don't understand how this circumstantial evidence is not being used to further the case along. We have seen it time and time again. People are convicted, they are charged, they are arrested, what have you. They are found guilty based on hardly any evidence. And this just doesn't add up to me, right? She was 18 years old and was last seen wearing, as I mentioned, a gray t-shirt with an FFA logo, a pair of denim shorts. She was 5'1" and weighed about 105 pounds at the time of her disappearance. She has shoulder-length blonde hair, brown eyes, her ears are pierced, and she has a birthmark on her left thigh. Now, currently her case is classified as endangered missing. If Brooke is still alive, she would be about 25 years old right now.